I'd like to thank all of you for taking the time for being here this morning and learn more about the apprenticeship model, training model, and more specifically having to do with medical assistant apprenticeships. Today you'll hear from employers who have incorporated the apprenticeships, the apprenticeship training model into what they do, and who will be recognized for being early adopters within the healthcare industry. I want to thank West Michigan Works for their amazing partnership and for putting this event together. They're so good to work with, the folks at West Michigan Works. Always happy to hear from them. And I'm going to introduce Sam Hinkle, the Apprenticeship Success Coordinator from West Michigan Works.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Lisa. Again, my name is Sam Hinkle, and I'm an Apprenticeship Success Coordinator at West Michigan Works. And today I will be presenting an overview of registered apprenticeship programs and how the registered apprenticeship program model has been implemented in healthcare, specifically medical assistants. The apprenticeship team at West Michigan Works helps businesses develop and manage apprenticeship programs. We are a program sponsor, which means we work directly with the Department of Labor, and we are currently managing over 60 registered apprenticeship programs. And if you hear me say RAP, it's short for Registered Apprenticeship Programs, because that can be a mouthful. We are also an intermediary, which means we are the go-between or consultant here to help anyone interested in registered apprenticeships. We can help with program creation, whether you want to join one of our programs or start your own. We offer technical assistance to businesses that already have apprenticeships, answer questions, make changes, updates, sometimes something as simple as helping to recover a password that was lost in transition. We can provide streamlined administration for businesses that don't have the capacity to manage their own programs and come under our standards. We'll help you manage it. And we can help you utilize funding sources or get access to resources to help offset program costs. At a very high level, there are 5 core components to a USDOL registered apprenticeship program, and USDOL is short for Department of Labor. 1, there's business involvement. Without an employer, it isn't possible to have a registered apprenticeship. It's an employer-driven model. The business has a say in how the program is set up and run. And there are 2 types of required training: related technical instruction or classroom training that is directly related to the job apprentices will be performing. They will learn the theory behind the occupation they are apprenticing in. Next is going to be structured on-the-job training, where they'll work with a mentor that the employer assigns. And rewards for skills gain. There is a wage increase incentive for completing the program. And finally, and one of the most important, is upon completion, there is a nationally occupational credential, and it used to be called the Journey Workers Card, that is issued from the Department of Labor. We have found that employers utilizing registered apprenticeships see several benefits. There's flexible and customizable training. An apprenticeship program can be adapted to fit the business needs and customized training for specific occupation requirements. There's expanded access to resources. Programs registered with the Department of Labor are eligible for state and federal resources that support talent development, which a lot of people look for, grant funding. There's a rapid transfer of knowledge from current to future high-value workers when an experienced mentor shares the tricks of the trade with an apprentice. Apprentices not only learn required skills, but can get ingrained in company culture as well. There's an increase in retention. National statistics show that 94% of apprentices stay with the employer after they've completed their program. Identifying high-performing entry-level employees and getting them into an apprenticeship program can create a stable and reliable pipeline of qualified workers. So what is the cohort model for registered apprenticeships, specifically for medical assistants? The Medical Assistant Registered Apprenticeship Program is a year-long paid training pathway that combines classroom education with hands-on clinical experience. Going into its 11th year, it has been recognized by the Department of Labor as a national promising practice model for other states. The apprentices work 24 hours per week at a partnering healthcare system. It is a combination or a hybrid classroom format where there's in-person lab and virtual instruction. And the credentials that can be earned include, but not limited to, eligibility to sit for the RMA and CMA certification, CPR first aid, and digital literacy badges. So why the cohort model? The cohort model for registered apprenticeship programs in West Michigan was created because of issues with retention and recruitment. Most colleges can offer the classroom training, but not the hands-on or on-the-job training. Colleges would not be able to meet class minimums with the normal enrollment process. The cohort model allows for multiple employers to hire and register apprentices, as well as giving the opportunity for community colleges to fill classes. So the benefits of running a cohort model are pure accountability. The apprentices see each other as partners and utilize each other as ways of supporting one another. Employers see each other as collaborators and not competitors. There's a standardized checklist across all rotations. The apprentices will learn industry best practices. The employers can help to design training rotations, predictable talent pipelines, and there's lower recruiting costs. So since the inception of the Medical Assistant Registered Apprenticeship Program, there have been 242 registered apprentices, of which 176 have successfully completing, making the completion rate 76%. So this brings us to the next part of our event. It is my pleasure to welcome Zach Siegel and the distinguished panelists up. Each brings a valuable perspective in the use of the cohort model, and we look forward to hearing their insights and experiences. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. I'm Zach Siegel, Apprenticeship Success Coordinator for West Michigan Works, and I help administer the cohort program for medical assistant. At this time, I'd like to welcome the panel up, have a seat, and we'll begin our introductions. So registered apprenticeship is all about our partners and working together in a training model to help accelerate worker skill development. I've had the pleasure of working with these collaborators for 3 years now as the liaison partner, and I'd like to take this time to introduce the panel. I'll have them introduce themselves. Hello, hello. Hello? Hello? Well, I don't think this is working.
Do you want me to be loud?
Oh, there we go.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. If you could state your name, position, and organization.
Sure. Good morning, everyone. Kelly Elkins with Trinity Health, and I am a lead workforce development program partner.
Good morning. Laura Hogan. I'm a clinical nurse educator, and I oversee the MAAs for Trinity Health Medical Group.
Good morning, I'm Heidi Bone, and I'm a registered medical assistant for Trinity Health Primary Care in Spring Lake, Michigan.
Good morning, I'm Jillian Rusco. I'm a medical assistant apprentice at Fruitport Family Med through Trinity Health.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Steve Smith. I'm the Regional Manager of Talent Acquisition with University of Michigan Health West.
Good morning, I'm Christy Bottani. I'm the practice manager at our Southwest Clinic for University of Michigan Health West. Sorry.
That's Heather Johnson. I'm medical assisting faculty here at Muskegon Community College.
Hello, everyone. I am Karen Gordon. I am the assistant manager for WIOA here at the Muskegon office for West Michigan Works.
Good morning, Angela Johnson. I'm the project coordinator at West Michigan Works on the apprenticeship team.
Thank you very much. Angela, can you hand the microphone to the back this way? All right, so we are going to go through a series of just questions and answers. Well, questions from me, answers from them, and at the end we'll have an audience Q&A. So Kelly, can you lead us off? What challenges or workforce gaps led you guys to pursue a registered apprenticeship model?
Yeah, thank you. Good question. So it started for Trinity Health back in around 2014, 2015. Changes with the Affordable Care Act required medical assistants to have a certification or a credential in order to chart in the electronic medical record system. We were also facing shortages of medical assistants as it was, so that just kind of compounded the problem, and we were competing with the other health systems in the area for the limited talent that was coming out of the training programs. So we had a conversation with West Michigan Works. Deb Leisinga, who used to be in the role back in the day with West Michigan Works, she came to us and said, hey, I have a crazy idea for you. Would you consider doing an apprenticeship? And we said, that doesn't make sense. This is healthcare, and you can't do that in healthcare. And she said, wait, look here, just hear me out. I promise you can. And so that kind of started the conversation. And we said, you know, we need fellow employers to join us in this because we know that we can't sustain an entire cohort by ourselves. And we know that we call them co-opetition, our co-opetition in the area, they also have that need. So can we work together to do this? And West Michigan Works brought us all to the table in early 2015, and we started the development. And then 2016, it started the first cohort.
Well, thank you, Kelly. Laura, would you like to add anything?
Anything you want to add?
No, nothing to add.
Okay.
I was waiting for the next question.
Steve and your team, would you like to speak on UM's progress?
Yeah, thank you. So for adding on to what Kelly said, for us in addition, there was seeing the barriers of individuals being able to pursue their medical assistant. A lot of times, maybe those programs were traditionally full-time and somebody was trying to work full-time or continue to work, but then they have life as well, and then where can I find time for school? And so this helped reduce that barrier. Sometimes cost is a barrier, so as the employer, we cover their tuition for the program. And with the cohort model, it really helps on being able to, talk with Kelly and Trinity Health, like, hey, with this, how are you guys handling this? And looking at the way to develop so you have that partner and another employer that's going through the same thing. And with West Michigan Works, they have been phenomenal as far as with the paperwork and getting through and getting it to be a registered apprenticeship. I would not have been able to figure that out on my own. So the geniuses at West Michigan Works have been phenomenal in helping that. And then even working through with the candidates and what you need, that Zach and Angela really help walk you through that as an employer. Okay, yep, here are the next steps, here's what we need to do. And so for me as an employer, having this cohort model and that support to be able to do this and be able to bring in candidates, and then like what was already touched on, that you have that longevity and helping with that retention.
Christy, any words you'd like to share? Okay. Thank you guys very much. I'd like to move to the apprentices for a moment. So Heidi, would you care to start us off as our graduate? So I want to ask, what attracted you to apply to the medical assistant apprenticeship?
Well, I was ready for a career change after 14 plus years of teaching early childhood, and I came across an ad for it, and I was like, this sounds like a really good opportunity to get into the medical field, because that's originally what I wanted to go into before my kids. So I went into teaching instead to work around their schedule, but then I got back and track now, and I decided to go for the apprenticeship program.
Awesome. I'd also like to hear from Jillian on that, if I could.
Hi. Yeah, so I currently still also work at Trinity as a phlebotomist, and while I was working there, I had saw that they were posting about the apprenticeship, and I knew that I wanted to further my career, and I still wanted to keep working because I do have life to pay for. And so I was able to apply for that and look more into it. And my mom also knows Heather personally. So while I was already looking into it, she was like, oh, hey, I saw her post about this. You should look into it. And I already was at that time. And it was the perfect opportunity for me to continue working while also furthering my education.
Thank you very much. At this time, I'd like to hear from Heather for MCC. Heather.
Yeah.
how would you describe your role in supporting apprenticeships through classroom instruction, and how does that connect to their on-the-job training?
Sure. So the role we provide is helping the apprentice students build the academic foundation that gives them the confidence that when they step into the workplace, they'll feel comfortable and competent in what they're doing. In the classroom, we want them to understand not just what they're doing, but why it matters. So that's a big thing that we try to teach them when they're in the classroom is, this is what we're doing, but this is why we're doing it and why we're doing it this particular way. We focus on the core knowledge and the skills that they will need, including medical terminology, anatomy and physiology, communication, documentation, safety, and the clinical and administrative procedures they'll use in the job. Just as important, we try to make sure those lessons feel connected to real practice. And when I'm teaching, I often give real-world examples of how I've used the skills that I'm teaching them so they know what to expect when they get out there. The classroom gives the apprentices the structure, language, understanding, and the workplace gives them the chance to apply it in a meaningful way, which is really nice for the apprenticeship students so they can apply it as they're learning it in the classroom. When the connection is strong, they feel more prepared, more capable, and more confident. Our goal is for them to leave the classroom feeling supported and ready to keep growing through their hands-on experience.
Thank you very much. I'd like to hand this over to Steve and his team. Christy or Steve, would you guys like to talk about some of the benefits you see from a registered apprenticeship program that you've used to upskill your workforce and bring in new talent?
Yes, so I think with the apprentice students that we have, we're able to really teach them real-time coursework, applying it. When you're learning from the classroom and it's not, you're not in the real field, you don't get to apply it as quickly. So sometimes we do have to slow them down because they can learn a lot just in clinic each day. But applying classwork course into real time has really made them very successful in kind of the program for future.
Thank you, Christy. Steve, anything you'd like to add to that? Okay. If we could pass the mic down to Laura and Kelly, and if there's anything you guys would like to add to that?
Do you want to start? Okay. So benefits, that was a question? Benefits,
Yes.
I was saying? Okay.
Yeah.
I would say probably the biggest benefit we've seen is just the success of the apprentices, hearing their stories of how they got started in the program, how they came to Trinity Health, and then watching them grow throughout the years. Having been a part of the very first cohort, and I actually did the recruiting for the very first cohort of apprentices, it's been so neat to watch their careers grow with Trinity Health. With that retention rates, we have seen that the retention rates for our apprentices exceed the retention rates for just our general MA population. So it proves that the model of apprenticeship really works. We have 4 apprentices from our very first cohort in 2016 that are still working at Trinity Health. So that's a pretty great demonstration of the success of the program. We've also seen just success in the partnerships that we've built with West Michigan Works. This was kind of that catalyst for this kind of unique model, and then from there, we took this as a template to continue building more apprenticeships, getting more grants with West Michigan Works, building a health careers council, which we then expanded to the southeast side of the state. So this really just, this model started a lot of the work that we've done. West Michigan Works, Muskegon Community College, Grand Rapids Community College, the U.S. Department of Labor. It's really changed the last 10 years in healthcare.
It certainly has. Thank you, Kelly. This is.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I was just going to add, the apprentices are employed by Trinity Health Medical Group, so they are learning our mission and our values and our expectations from day one. So by the time they're finished with their apprenticeship, we're kind of meeting them where they're at, and they're ready to work independently, and they've already been kind of integrated into, our mission and our values. So that's really helpful.
That's another unseen benefit that can be from apprenticeship. I'd like to ask just all the employers at large, how has this impacted career progression for our apprentices going forward? if anyone would like to chime in on that, you're more than welcome.
How has this impacted career progression?
We've seen some of our apprentices that have come through our program move on to other positions within the organization. So they've gone back to school and learned informatics and now work in our informatics department, and they're out there teaching other MAs how to utilize Epic and how to utilize that EHR. So they have moved into other roles. We've seen MAs go back and go to nursing school, become LPNs, RNs. So they've taken different paths, but I think it definitely kind of opens up their perspective and other things and other opportunities that they can do.
Health West, anything you'd like to talk about with progression?
And I think for us, with our current team members, seeing them being able to progress and that next step that they're looking to take, that they see that into a medical assistant, that they've been working in other roles and trying to figure out, how do I take that next step? How do I make that work, with everything that's going on? And it's really provided that opportunity and really definitely been a satisfier for them.
Thank you very much. I'd like to ask our graduate a question, if I could. I know I threw a curveball at you earlier, so I apologize for that. So I would like to ask how your apprenticeship experience prepared you for your current career pathway.
So through in-class instruction and our labs, which helped us to learn various competencies that we need in order to become an MA. And also the paid on-job training that we had during that time after we'd pass our competencies, we would be able to put that actually into practice. So the more we would do it, we'd get better at it. So that was very helpful. And plus the strong support also that we had throughout the way from instructors, our peers, and our preceptors.
Thank you very much. If I could have Heather answer another question for MCC. Thank you very much, Heidi. All right, Heather, I have a question about another Muskegon Community College. Okay. So how do you support apprentices, especially those returning to school or navigating college for the first time, and kind of help them overcome some common challenges?
Sure. One of our most important roles is, kind of meeting the apprentices where they are. A lot of them are just coming to college for the first time, or returning to college after being either, a stay-at-home mom or working a completely different career. And so we really try to lead them with reassurance, help try to build their confidence. A lot of times it is even learning study skills, organization, time management. We try to help them, get that figured out. It's not even just teaching them the medical assisting skills that they need to know. It's starting from square one on even how to be a student while working often, with their apprenticeship students, managing family, home, life, those things. A lot of the support we have in our college is also provided to the students. So we provide them with access to tutoring and study resources. We have the Jayhawk Hub, which has been a fantastic resource for our students. So we try to meet with them early if they're struggling and provide the resources, try to eliminate the barriers that they're facing. And we try to build their confidence. Self-confidence is an issue for a lot of our students. And so slowly meeting with them and providing that reassurance and build their confidence. And eventually they get to the end and they're more confident and they're successful.
Thank you very much. If I could, Karen, a question for you from the West Michigan Works talent side. So how would you describe our organization's role in supporting the Medical Assistant Registered Apprenticeship Program, and what makes our approach unique from the talent side?
Well, like he said, I'm from the talent side of the house, so that means that we work with the job seekers. So I believe that our coaches, we go into it meeting them where they're at. Like MCC said, we take a look at, do they have any barriers? And we try to help with any barriers that they may have. We've had students, have childcare issues. If it's transportation issues, it could be things that come up in the middle of the season. It doesn't matter. working with MCC has been the best for us here in Muskegon because we talk a lot. I mean, I want to say once or twice a week I'm talking with Dawn. So she can bring things to me. Also, with our business solutions department, they might hear of other things that they can bring to us where we can help them. And I think when you look at the whole thing, I've been working with the MA apprenticeship team probably starting like the third cohort, and we change a lot. So we meet, the whole team meets, and then we talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, and we tweak it every single year. When I tell you we tweak it every year, and it gets better and better and better. And I think that one of the things that our goal is to see if we can make sure that we have retention for our employers. And as you can see, I'm listening to our employers, and they have retention. They're keeping their students or their I call them job seekers, but sorry. You're keeping your staff, and they're moving on to other things like an LPN or RN. And so to me, it's working.
Thank you very much, Karen. I'd like to pass the mic to my partner behind the scenes, Angela. Angela, what does effective collaboration with an employer look like, and how do we help them feel confident launching an apprenticeship?
We're really on, excuse me, we're really on the back end of things. So when we are really kind of working with all of our partners, we're really just having that lens of, okay, how are we going to do recruitment? How are we going to get this going? You know, we are in our 11th year, so it seems like we know exactly what we're doing. But as Karen mentioned, every year we're pivoting, we're changing, we're always trying to make the process easier for the student and obviously for our collaborators as well. So I would say one of the top things I was thinking about was like shared expectations. So we really do meet with our partners all the time. So we have like committee meetings, timelines. We're always just trying to effectively communicate with everybody just to ensure that everybody's on the same page, because obviously you can see with this type of model, it's very layered. You know, you have the employer partners, you've got the apprentices, you have our team, and you just want to make sure everybody's on the same page and that we're talking about, you know, those barriers, or if something were to come up, we're trying to problem solve together. I also talk about like responsive problem solving is a major piece of what we do. I always kind of say we're always putting out fires, and that's going to be a constant thing. You're going to have something that's going to come up, and I think that because we're always collaborating and we're talking and we're communicating, we're able to really talk through that and just make sure that we're forging those relationships. That's a huge piece of, I think, what Zach and I do is just making sure that that trust is built with the employer and with the educators. So if something were to happen, we can talk it through, we can make sure that we can always connect at all times to, you know, better the apprentice, because that's really our goal, is to make sure that not only are we launching this program, but that they're successful at the end. So.
Thank you very much, Angela. Give a little insight into what we do, so thank you. If I could ask the clinical partners, the employer clinical team, a question. So how is the apprenticeship different from an externship, practicum, sort of clinical rotation experience?
Yeah, so they're with us for a full year, which is great. And we also have them 3 days a week. And so I think with that, building a relationship with them daily, they're working really in the trenches with us. So they're getting to see the real time, again, things that we experience day in and day out. They're building that relationship not only with their peers, but they're also the patients. That makes things a little easier. I think when you have just a very short period, a 6-week or something like that, the students are really trying to learn it all in just a short period of time where they're very overwhelmed, and they're focused on maybe one task and learning all of it. So really having them 3 days a week in clinic, 2 days in school, they're really able to take it all in. and really use it real time. I think another thing that is really great is we work alongside their coursework. So we slow things down. They could learn it all in one day too when they're in clinic. And the students are very eager to learn it too. But we can get them to do it very well, over the course of the year. So I would say that's probably a really good thing.
Thank you very much. Laura, would you like to speak on anything?
I think you nailed it. It's that structured learning all throughout the year at a slower pace, and having that support from, MCC's perspective, from the employer perspective, their preceptor, and just working closely with all of them at a much different pace than just going straight through the program and just completing extern hours. So, yeah, I think you nailed it.
One thing I will add that apprenticeship gave us the flexibility to do, which was one of those things that somebody suggested in an early development meeting. I was like, oh, yeah, let's try it. We said normally with an externship, they kind of go to an office for their assigned number of hours. I can't remember, 160, something like that. And then that was it. They would see that one office. So for the apprenticeship, they're on-the-job training. They rotate through different offices throughout the year. So it gives them a chance to see a whole variety of practices and patient populations and physicians. And so when they are doing that throughout the year, they can kind of say, hey, I think this sort of practice would be a good fit for me, or this one I know now that I don't really want to work with this patient population as much. So it's, they're better prepared to apply for what their end practice will be at the end of the program.
Thank you. This one's for our Heather at Muskegon. So Heather, can you share a moment when you saw an apprentice grow or overcome a challenge or gain confidence through MCC's support?
Sure. So I was working as actually an adjunct my first semester that I taught here, and so I was just helping in the lab setting. And this was kind of the moment to me that I knew that this is what I wanted to do. This was back in 2018. And I had a student in her second semester, and it was right before she went to her final practicum. She was an apprenticeship student. This student kind of struggled with a lot of barriers, and she struggled kind of relating to other students in the class a little bit, just because she had a difficult time, but she had grown in confidence, and we helped eliminate some of the barriers she was facing. We were doing our final lab test out, which was, kind of combining everything they've learned together, together to one final test out. And she was so nervous. And I remember she did her test out, and I was actually just observing. Dawn was testing her out. And I remember at the very end, she just got this look on her face like, did I pass? And Dawn said, you did great, you passed. And she just sobbed. And the confidence that she built after that, she did her practicum, she was an apprenticeship student, so she was working 3 days a week. Just seeing everything click together for her. Now, many years later, she's actually a preceptor for our students when they go to their practicum sites, and she is doing phenomenal. And just to watch her grow and, eliminate those barriers she was facing to create this wonderful career that she has now, really was a kind of changing point for me, knowing that I wanted to leave, the clinical hands-on practice as a nurse to become an educator.
Thank you very much. That's a nice little story. If I could, I'd like to turn back to Angela for a moment. Angela, what's something that the audience might not realize we do behind the scenes to keep the apprenticeship running smoothly?
Like everything? I don't know. It's like, I have no idea. We just kind of do a little bit of everything. So I think we're always wearing various hats throughout the year. So even leading up to that, we're doing the the learning management system, we're doing the platform, we're doing the supports. We just kind of do everything, and that's why I think this program has been so successful, is because we have such great support, like Dawn and all of these people that really support us throughout, because it makes our jobs easier. So
Thank you. Yeah, there's a, yeah.
Can I add to that?
Yeah, Kelly would like to add to that. I will say, working with Angela, that woman is tireless, so thank you.
I'm going to intercept. I am. It'll make it that way. But I think one of the big things that I don't think Angela touched on is like with it being a registered apprenticeship. And for me, that was a huge piece on me that I started looking at all that paperwork. I'm like, I don't even know if we can do this because I don't understand all this. But behind the scenes, they're just walking through, nope, here's what you need to do, answered all the questions and everything. And that is a huge help.
You trying to steal my answer?
Yeah, I just wanted to add from the employer perspective, when you're working with the U.S. Department of Labor on a registered apprenticeship, there is a bulk of paperwork that has to be done, both on the front end, preparing all the standards, sending them off to DOL, going through the approval process with DOL and registering the program itself. But then with each new cohort, all the apprentices have to be registered into DOL system and then periodically reported out on entering new wages and things like that. So there's all that administrative burden that for an employer, and in my role, I would have been the one to do all that work. And I was like, oh, that's a lot on top of all the other stuff I have to do. And having multiple programs that it would have to be done for. So West Michigan Works as an intermediary sponsor, they take on all of that administrative responsibility. So that takes the burden off the employer to do all of that work. It also puts a little bit of a buffer between us and Department of Labor, which is nice too. So that, from the employer perspective, from the HR perspective, that is probably one of the biggest benefits for us of the partnership.
Thank you, Kelly. And if I may.
And finding grant money.
Oh my God.
We like that.
That's something to navigate all on its own. I just want to add, as someone who does work in this program, working with the Department of Labor can be a challenge. So I think that is a big benefit to employers, is having us be able to kind of cut through that language with the Department of Labor. So thank you, guys. And I'd like to shift back to Karen if I could. So Karen, given your involvement in the Muskegon community, how have you seen apprenticeships impact local employers, educators, and so forth?
Well, impacting local employers, I feel like I just said that they are keeping their apprentices moving on. And what was the second part of your question?
Just, how that's impacted just the local area, basically.
The local area. I feel like because I started like on cohort 3 or 4, I feel like we only had maybe about 100 or so job seekers come and sign up. And throughout the years, I have seen over 200 applicants come through. And then even though we can't get everyone through the apprenticeship, we also try to say, well, if you can't get through the medical apprenticeship, we at least want to get you into the MA program. And so it's just, we don't stop. We want to keep going and want to keep working with the job seekers, keep working with employers, because we want to make sure that our employers have the best of the best out there. And so to me, that's what I see throughout our community here in Muskegon. Our medical assistant apprenticeship has just blown up for us here in Muskegon. And so to see going to hospitals, seeing some of our apprenticeships, going to some of the offices, I see some of the apprenticeships, it's just amazing. And just to continue seeing the work being put in and the hard work from these employers and from the schools, it's just going to keep getting better.
Thank you very much, Karen. If I could, I'd like to pivot back to Jillian for a moment to ask her a question. So Jillian, as our current apprentice, what did your employer or mentor do to make this experience more positive, and what would you recommend more employers to do?
Yeah, the whole apprenticeship for me has been an extremely positive interaction. With Laura being a part of it, she encourages us. She's there to help with anything that we need. She makes it so much less confusing, and she lets us know that she's there with us. We all communicate with Laura on a daily basis, and our mentors at the sites. I have many of them that I rotate with, so I get to learn all of the perspectives from each different medical assistant. And I actually work with one of the first medical apprentices that was in the program, and even though it was a little while ago, she still has lots of tips for me and lots of things for me to learn. and they're very open. They don't necessarily treat me like a student, and that helps a lot. And I recommend that for any employer that has an apprentice. It's a great opportunity for anyone in the program, and I highly recommend it.
Thank you very much. I'd like to pass this one to all of our clinical and HR teams for the employers. So what advice would you give to employers considering partnering in an apprenticeship program or even stepping into that first apprenticeship role?
You've heard it, I think, throughout this panel, but like it takes a team, and there is a very strong team and support that you have to get into it. When we were venturing into it, for me, as I was looking into it, as something that was very unknown. The unknown can be scary, and when you're looking at something like this, like, how do I do this? But having the partnerships with West Michigan Works, with other employers and Trinity Health, and being able to come together, there is that support system. And I think initially for us, I was talking with Christy, and that, like, initially when we were trying to plan it, that we started to kind of almost overcomplicate it and try to think through every detail and everything. And like, we got way too far into the weeds than what we needed to. And after we got started, we realized, no, we just need to dial it back and start simple. And so you don't have to have everything all figured out. But if you start simple, it's easy to jump in, and then you adapt and change from there on, hey, we could do this better. Maybe we need to do this or don't need to do that. And but starting simple, definitely make it easier.
I would agree.
Well said, Christy.
One other thing to add, I just think it's helpful for them to understand the time commitment as well. It is only a year, but for some people that could be, a long time for them. So just letting them know up front the time commitment as far as, working 3 days a week, also going to school, doing those clinical labs. It is a lot to take on. So I think just kind of mentally preparing them for that, and again, letting them know that they have that support. As an employer, we work really closely with, the instructors, and so letting them know they have that support, so when they need someone to lean on or they need that support, that we're going to be there for them.
I would encourage other employers to just try it. Just try one cohort, 1 year, 2 year, whatever it is for the apprenticeship that you're looking at. You're not committing to 20 years of the program. Just commit to 1 year and giving it a try, and then reevaluating, and you'll see the success, and then go from there. There are a lot of templates. There's a lot of employers like us who are willing to share our experience. I have consulted with other health systems nationally to provide insight. So there are a lot of other employers that are willing to share their experience, so you don't have to do it from scratch. There's, several wheels built that you can just start with those.
Beautiful. Thank you guys very much. I'd like to end our panel discussion with words from our graduate. So Heidi, if you could, for just a moment, kind of give us some advice you would consider, you would give to someone considering the MA apprenticeship program.
I would say, if you're passionate about becoming an MA and you want to be in the field of healthcare, sorry about that. You got it. You got this. You can do it. And then at the end, you're going to realize that it was totally worth it, and it's a very rewarding career. Sorry, I'm nervous, and it's all good.
It's okay, Heidi.
But
It's worth it.
yes,
I'm not even finished yet, and it's very worth it.
it is. And though I'm not very good at public speaking, I'm very good at communicating one-on-one with patients and doctors. But yeah, I mean, as they sit in for their final moment, as they're going to take that certification test, they're going to think back on all the hard work and effort that they put into the program, and everything that they've ever doubted is just going to be totally eliminated. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Heidi. All All right, at this time, we would like to take questions from the audience. So if anyone has any questions, comments, feel free to raise your hand and we'll answer some of those. So go ahead.
What an awesome thing of how working together makes a difference. And so we appreciate it. I am in the graduate. Thank you for your story. I got 3 things I want to mention. One is king, patient, and then serious ceremony. So let me break that down for you. I'm sorry, I don't want to come back to you.
Here. I should have brought you a mic. I'm sorry.
All right. So I got to tell this candy story. So years ago, and Heather will appreciate this, and Don, years ago, when their office was in another part of the building, I used to sneak in and get candy. And the way that their office was set up, they couldn't see me come in and get the candy. And so I'd come in and get candy all the time. Then Dawn caught me a couple times getting candy. And she started talking to me about what they were doing and what they wanted to do here at the college in terms of the program. So when we had the opportunity to build a new facility, the MA program was one of those programs that we decided to move into our new facility. The only problem with the new facility is that now it's all glass. And so I can't sneak up and get candy like I used to without getting caught. So, but the new facility is awesome. We committed that facility to that program, and it's always doing well. Several times I'd come over and students would take my blood pressure, and then I even had my blood drawn one time from the lab over there from an MA student. And so, but they wanted to make me a regular patient, so I stopped coming over there so much. So that was the other part there. And then if you want to be moved to tears, come to one of their ceremonies. I have seen, like everybody, pulling out hanky napkins from dinner, wiping their eyes when the students tell their stories and do their testimonials. So, but we are so proud and pleased to be a part of this initiative, because that's what we do, is we try to work together with partners to make a difference. Because you can see all the combinations of partners there, right? You can't do this work alone. And so as a community, you got to come together and do this important work. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And I just wanted to say that. So.
Thank you very much.
And I'm turning this mic back over.
Would anyone else like to pose a question
right.
to the panel?
I can hand it off. All right. Questions. Thank you. Yep.
Hi, for the MA program, does their coursework transfer to a degree if they choose to stay in school?
So it's they get a certificate at the end of the program, and it is. I can use my. I'll just use my teacher voice. Sure. So you do receive college credit for our program, and it does equate to, I think, 32 college credits, and that can go toward an associate's degree. We've had quite a few students who continue on and finish their associate's degree. We also have a pathway that they can transition into nursing, respiratory therapy. Most of our healthcare programs are pathway programs.
Fantastic. I've got more questions. I don't mind if I keep going. Oh, what is the typical cost per new employee versus a apprentice?
I can answer that for Trinity.
So I think, and it's been a few years, so every time we lose a medical assistant, I think it costs us about $20,000 to $36,000 to recruit and train a new one, and that's hoping that they stay. So I think with the MAAs, the cost to us is really just those 3 days a week that they're working, so they're working part-time, so it's significantly less. And with that program, they're training with us, so they're elbow to elbow with the people that they're going to be working with. And so they're elbow to elbow with the people that they're going to be working with, so they can try us out, and we can try them out, and it's been a great marriage of effort. And so I would say, as Kelly indicated, we had 43 people, or We currently have 43 graduates that are still employed by Trinity, and 4 are from the original cohort in 2016. So, and one I think has actually gone on to become an instructor for an MA program. So the cost is significantly less. Yes.
And you might be the person for my next question, which is, are you able to bill for the services the MAs are rendering while they're still training?
So in Michigan, so under the provider, is that what your question is?
Yes. So are you able to bill for the apprentices' work while they're apprentices, or do they need to finish the program first?
They need to finish the program first. At least that's what we do at Trinity because they're students, right? So we classify them as students. But if they're with the preceptor, then the preceptor and the provider can bill for those services. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Right. That's all I got for now.
Thank you. Does anyone have any further questions?
Zach, what's the demographic we're looking for in recruiting students for an MA program that are RD?
Sure, well, I can answer that. Any and all. But I'll hand this off to the panel.
Anyone that is interested in working in healthcare as a medical assistant.
Age restrictions?
Sorry?
Age restrictions?
18 is on our standards, it was written as 18.
Thank you, Brad. Is anyone else? Okay.
Can I just that?
Yeah.
And just so you know, we have had dual enrolled and early college students complete our program as well. We've had students anywhere from 18 all the way up to 68, I think was our oldest student. So, and all successful.
Any further questions at this time? Got a few more minutes. Oh, sure.
Hi, I guess it's more for clarification. Recruiting for the core cohorts where I work now, I'm here for Rest Haven in Holland. We do a couple apprenticeships already. Is that a partnership between Michigan Works and ourselves, or do we post it on our site, or is it something through Michigan Works that's posted? How does that?
You stole the mic last time, Steve. So it is a partnership. So it starts where West Michigan Works posts like an overall application of interest, we call it. And so anybody that is interested in the program will apply through that. And what's nice is that's open like all year. So somebody, because our cohort started in January, so somebody could see it in March and kind of start the process early. So it starts with the application of interest. They go through a career portfolio process where they're preparing to apply, doing resume, interview preparation, applying to the college, making sure they've got everything in order if they were accepted. And then I'm sorry, I feel like I'm leaning around this column here. And then their portfolios are sent over to the employer and they start our official. So they do normal Trinity Health application process from there. So applying, meeting with the TA specialist, meeting with the interview team of our leaders, and then going through onboarding.
With ours, all very similar. One difference might be a difference, but so we'll post ours for this upcoming cohort. We'll probably post ours in the next month or two. So we do sometimes get applicants that have applied that haven't started their portfolio with West Michigan Works. So then we reach out to them, hey, have you started, through West Michigan Works in the portfolio? And then because of the interest and volume, we wait until they have completed their portfolio before interviews.
I think we have time for one more question, if anyone has any. Okay, I just want to add that we've been integrating into the program too what's called the Michigan Apprenticeship Readiness Certificate, which does enable the apprentice to show that they have completed a apprenticeship training course. Going through our portfolio, it's an automatic completion when they get to that point. So at this time, I would like to formally thank our panelists for their time and thank you for helping make this model successful. You are dismissed, Kelly. I'd like to add, while we are here to celebrate the partnership with Muskegon Community College, we also do work with Grand Rapids Community College on this program. And in the past, we have worked with Montcalm Community College. So there's a lot of opportunity for employers out there. So thank you guys very much. And to wrap up today's event, I'd like to turn the floor over to Carrie Sutton. She is the Apprenticeship Expansion Analyst with the Michigan Department of Labor and Economic Opportunity State Apprenticeship Expansion Team. And before she gets up here, I told her I would do this. Please take a Yeti. They are very nice, they are high quality, and we need to get them out of our coffers. So, Carrie, the floor is yours.
Thanks so much, Zach. And yes, please take a Yeti. We don't want any Yetis left behind. Okay, so how about another round of applause for the employers, the educators, and especially the apprentices. Thank you so much for being here. We sincerely appreciate your willingness to participate in this event today. I think that the information shared here is so important, and any new employers that may be considering adopting apprenticeship as a training model learned a lot of things here that they can take back and share with the people that they work with. So thank you so much. Okay, so now the fun stuff. We would like to formally recognize Trinity Health as a champion for registered apprenticeship expansion here in Michigan. If you'd like to come up to receive your award, Vanna White will be presenting. On behalf of the U.S. Department of Labor, the Michigan Department of Labor and Economic Opportunity, and West Michigan Works, congratulations and thank you for all you do to expand registered apprenticeship in Michigan. All right. Yeah, would you like to say something? Thank you.
Yeah, that was the mic drop for Trinity Health. So, Trinity Health, West Michigan, and our medical group, we were one of the original early adopters of the Medical Assistant Apprentice Program. We started in 2016. We're in our 10th cohort. I believe we've had 109 graduates, so that number you quoted of 170 some, 109 of those are ours. It's been very successful. We've retained, I think, 43 employees. One is obviously our lovely Heidi, who was part of the discussion panel. But MCC is near and dear to my heart. I am an MCC graduate. Go Jayhawks. I graduated from the nursing program in 2002 as an adult learner. I was a single mom with 4 kids. So this apprentice program and the opportunity it presents for adult learners or people maybe coming into healthcare on a different path is near and dear to my heart. So I'm so thrilled to accept this award on behalf of Trinity, and I'm so thrilled that we've been able to partner with Michigan Works and you all these years. And anyone who's hesitant, don't hesitate. Right? You have nothing to do but benefit from this, and if it doesn't work after a year, then it doesn't work. But give it a shot. It's really worth it, and it's worth it to the students. It really makes a difference. What a great way to introduce people into healthcare. So, thank you.
Just don't drop that award like you dropped the mic. Those are super heavy. Okay. Next up, we would like to formally recognize U of M Health West as the Race to Talent with Registered Apprenticeship Champion. Come on up. So, again, from the USDOL and the Michigan Department of Labor, and West Michigan Works, congratulations on being a champion.
Hi, I'm Christy. I think very similar sentiments. I think I wish that we would have done it sooner. We weren't one of the original cohorts. I think this is our 3rd year. And definitely, I would say do it. It's been inspiring to watch the student stories and really watch that investment from the team as they kind of wrap around the apprentices. It's been great. And I think, as Steve and many of the panelists mentioned earlier, it takes a village, right? And healthcare is not getting any easier, and talent is getting harder and harder to source. And so this has been a great entry point for us for really gaining medical assistance, which is so needed to really keep that engine running of healthcare in our ambulatory practices in particular. So thank you to West Michigan Works and everybody here for that partnership as we move forward. So thank you on behalf of U of M Health West.
Okay, last but definitely not least, we'd like to recognize Muskegon Community College as a Race to Talent with Registered Apprenticeship Champion by presenting you with this heavy crystal award. Again, this is an award from the U.S. Department of Labor and the Michigan Department of Labor and Economic Opportunity and West Michigan Works. That's a better picture right there.
Hi, everybody. I'm Lisa Gatti-Arnold, the Dean of Nursing and Health Programs. I think we're missing a very important person who's been mentioned several times, and that's Dawn Platt, our medical assistant program coordinator, who was not able to be here today. She makes this happen for us, and she is, I don't even know, she's just a firecracker with her energy and her love for students and everything she does and everything she and Heather do for the MA program and our students. And as Dr. Selman alluded to earlier, when you come to the medical assistant certificate ceremony and you hear those student stories, that is the mission of our college. It lifts people up, brings them into a new confidence where they feel like they can have a career, they can go on to other things if they choose to do so, and lifts up our community and the health of our community as well. And I know Dawn, Heather, and I know I'm very proud to be part of that and part of MCC, that mission that we have for our community. And thank you so very much. We really appreciate this.
So I have to say that I go to a lot of these events, and it's honestly touching my heart. I think I got to start bringing tissues to these things. But there's something about this healthcare one that's a little bit more special, right? The work that you guys do, the way that you do it, we appreciate you so much. So again, thank you for being here today. Thank you for your contribution to expanding registered apprenticeships in Michigan. And Joel, you want to wrap us up?
Thanks, Carrie. Appreciate you being here. Hi, everybody. I'm Joel Elsenbroek. I'm with the apprenticeship team at West Michigan Works. Want to thank you again all for coming out today. There are 2 documents on the table that you can take home with you. One is a flyer about the medical apprenticeship program. Gives you a little more detail. There is a QR code on there as well that'll take you to our website where you can get more information or get in touch with us. The other one is the actual training outline for the apprenticeship program. And this is just an example of kind of what that on-the-job training and related technical instruction classwork looks like. West Michigan Works, as Sam said, is a consultant, so we can help you develop and manage a registered apprenticeship program. Our services are free, and if anybody in the room is interested in learning more, we encourage you to ask the team questions today or to reach out with us through the website, and we'd be more than happy to meet with you and talk more about registered apprenticeship. There's breakfast to go, so if you need something else, please grab it. Grab a Yeti cup, and again, appreciate you all coming out today. Thank you to our panelists and to everybody else.